Welcome back. It's our Tuesday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk. It's our fourth and final edition of today's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk. This segment is brought to you by Lindsay & Associates with locations in Fayetteville, locations also too in Rogers. This segment is also brought to you by Locomotion. Looking for a place to take the kids? It's located in Fayetteville, just below the Northwest Arkansas Mall. And if you don't get a chance to catch us here each and every day on our live stream of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk from 1 to 2, make sure you go and check us out on our podcast as we podcast the best segment of the day on iHeartRadio each and every day. So make sure you go and check out that download and find out what we talk about here each and every day on OTH. And maybe you want to continue to come back. But we're going to take a trip and stay here at the University of Arkansas and catch up with Mascot Media's own Derek Oxford. Derek, welcome to the Hill, my man.
What's up, man?
I know you have a lot to say as we're in the press box watching this past weekend's game versus TCU and the Hogs of Arkansas. What were your takes, Derek, and where does the Hogs go from here, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, pretty disappointing to say the least. Considering the kind of the hype that the team had come into the game, you really expected them to play a lot better than they did. It would not have been bad to lose to TCU, but the fashion in which they lost and the way they looked doing it was more disappointing than the actual defeat. The final score isn't even a total indicator of how lopsided the game actually was. I think TCU will probably left 14 points on the field. They probably could have won 42-7. You can't make chip-shot field goals. You don't tackle well. You can't run the ball. You don't do anything that you say is a priority of your program, and you do nothing well other than the play action pass for the touchdown, and then the defense for the most part did okay. It wasn't the reason they lost. But really, where they go from here, they're going to have to totally rehaul everything that they think they believe about their program. Something's got to change to where they didn't even really look like an SEC football team Saturday, and they're about to jump into SEC play. And if that's the kind of performance they're going to put up in an SEC game, they're going to really get embarrassed.
Talking with Mascot Media's Derek Oxford, talking Hogs-Frogs recap. Derek, I want to talk about a situation I think that's starting to set in with this fan base, apathy. What's the coach Brett Bielema window as far as the fan base is concerned? Are we getting close to that threshold that fans are going to really start calling for changes? Because if we notice, it came out, and I was doing some research and found out that Arkansas under Coach Brett Bielema at home is 0-15 heading into the fourth quarter when they trail. What's the window? What say you on that about Coach B and his future here with Arkansas?
I think his window is that at this point, a change should be made if he doesn't have a winning season. I think that should be the baseline for keeping his job. He should have to at least win 7 games.
Right.
Go 7-6. He should be relieved of his duties if that doesn't happen. Whether or not he will be is the other, side of it. The buyout is like $15 million plus the money you'd have to spend to buy out assistant coaches. Then, if you were to hire a new coach, there would be a buyout paid probably for that guy. So, you're looking at a $20+ million to get rid of Bielema. Really, the only other option at that point, say the season kind of spirals out of control and they go 4-8 or 5-7. At that point, you might hope, I guess, that Bielema takes another job, seeing the handwriting on the wall maybe moves on and tries to find a landing spot, and then you're out of the buyout, and you're kind of able to do something in terms of a new hire. Really, that's their only hope at that point, other than him fixing things and getting something out of the season. But as of right now, with through 2 games, it looks pretty bleak at him being able to turn it around.
Got about 30 seconds, Derek. I got one final question. Does Cole Hedlund kick again at the University of Arkansas, in your honest opinion?
Never. Never.
All right, Derek. Well, we'll come back next week, and we'll start getting into what we both think, you and I, in talking. This is going to be a big game on the 11 o'clock kickoff in Jerrysville versus the A&M Aggies. But as always, Derek, thanks for taking time out on the hill, my man.
No problem.
That was Mascot Media, Derek Oxford, talking Hogs-Frogs, talking Coach B. Window. It was pretty candid with what he had to say, Demetrius, I might say. What's your take on just what Derek said as far as buyout, changes needing to be made? I mean, what's your opinion?
I'm kind of along the lines with Derek. I think winning 7 games is kind of mediocre, and I believe that should be kind of the baseline to say, hey, if this guy can't even do this year 5, what makes year 6 a lot different? Because even when you're looking at the recruits that we're bringing in, these aren't guys that are really in the spots we really need them at. We got 2 tight ends coming in, but I kind of see our tight ends doing good. We got Bumper Pool coming in. We have a couple of quarterbacks and a few more defensive players. But on that offensive line, what's the one kid we got? We got a big name recruit off the offensive line.
Not really.
I thought we had one from
Noah Gatling is a big-time kid out of.
Was it the 4-star kid?
Well, he's not a 4-star on the offensive line. You got Isaiah Nichols, a 4-star D lineman, and then there's
I thought there was a 4-star offensive lineman.
Isaiah's a 3-star out of Jonesboro.
But even when you look at the recruits that we're bringing in, there's nobody that makes you raise your eyebrow like, hey, he can come in and really change our program. So I would have to agree with a lot that Derek said, and just to go back on against the buyout, I think it's going to be on the fans. If the fans stop supporting this program, I don't care how much money you owe a coach. Once the university sees that they've lost their fans, and when you talk about Arkansas, that's crucial to our program when you're talking about fans, because we're an independent program. All our finances come from, inside the football program. So that being said, once you lose the fans, you've lost 50% of your income. So if they're not happy, nobody's happy. So it ends up hurting the university. But, again, Jeff Long is the guy that gets paid the millions of dollars to make those decisions and, gather the data that makes it, if we can fire him or not. So I'm just going to sit back and kind of watch how this plays out, because just looking at the schedule and just what we have on the team, I don't think this season is it's over. We lost. We're not going to win another game. I don't think it's that bad, but it's definitely going to take some guys to look themselves in the mirror and say, do I really belong at this SEC D1 program? And if so, I need to step up and show these guys why I'm here.
I totally agree with some of the things Derek said. I do think they have to make some changes. I'm really on the fence of, where the apathy sets in with Coach Bielema. I think, we got 10 weeks left. But when you do play a game and perform the way that Arkansas did on Saturday in their home opener here on campus in Fayetteville, with the atmosphere that they had, 23rd ranked team coming in, Texas, and in particular that Dallas-Fort Worth area is real important to Arkansas's future going forward. I thought that all the elements were set up. You were the first SEC team to be on CBS television playing a major college football game, so a lot of the country had a chance to see you play. I do think that, like I said, there's 10 weeks left. Coach B made a statement in his post-game press conference on Saturday that they have to be the most improved team in the country. I totally agree. I think that you're going to have to make some changes on your offensive line. I think that's the biggest key that's really holding this football team back, and I think you got to get more production with your receivers. I know Michael Smith is a very good coach. So I think half of it you have to lay at the feet of the players. Maybe go as far as to, in the week's preparation, if you're the offensive coach, tell the defensive players what the play is when it's a passing play, and make your offensive receivers really compete and start to find out who's going to be the competitors. Even with the defensive front knowing, make those offensive linemen compete and get some more aggressiveness, because I just don't think I see the aggression. That's the biggest problem I have when you look at this football team on Saturday, is I didn't see the aggression. You know, you ought to be able, if you're an SEC opponent with the size I think Arkansas had versus the TCU defensive front, they should have been able to push for 2 yards. And I think it just comes to some competitive nature has to kick in on this football team. You know, Frank Ragnow wrapped it up best and said it's time to stop talking and start putting all the words into action, and I totally agree. But that's going to wrap up our show today. I want to give a big thank you to Danny Jones of the Daily Columbian for coming on and giving us the insight on the Missouri Tigers football program, where they're at heading into this game versus the Purdue Boilermakers. Also, to Ole Miss's, the Rebel Walk, Courtney Asher-Smith. Great insight on what's going on down there in Oxford with this big meeting they have with the NCAA. And lastly, rounding it out, talking Hogs and Frogs with Mascot Media's Derek Oxford. We really appreciated his take. He kind of gave it to us real and uncut, and that's how we like to do it. But that's going to wrap it up. Want to give our big shout out to all our sponsors before we go. Lindsay and Associates wouldn't be possible without you guys, with locations in Fayetteville, also too, and Rogers. Also, Locomotion. Looking for a place to take the kids. It's located in Fayetteville, just below the Northwest Arkansas Mall. And lastly, be sure, if you don't get a chance to check us out here on our live stream from 1 to 2 of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins, go check our podcast out. Go to iHeartRadio as we put up the top interview of each and every show daily. You can catch it in the evenings. But that's going to wrap it up. We're going to catch you tomorrow. Give a lot more insight into SEC football. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins. You guys have a blessed one.